You know that moment when you're chilling with your friends and you finally start telling a story, like you've been waiting for the right time to drop it, right? And just when you're halfway in, someone blurts out, "Wait, did you guys see what happened on Jessica's story last night?" Suddenly, the energy shifts. Everyone turns, laughs, and gets hyped. And your story? Yeah, completely gone. Nobody says, "Hey, what were you saying?" Nobody notices you just stopped talking. And there you are, gripping your drink like it's a life vest, smiling like it's fine. But inside, you're thinking, "Cool, I guess I'm the background music now." That moment haunted me more times than I want to admit. I used to leave conversations thinking, did I say something wrong? Do I just suck at talking? Why do people always drift away when I speak? Here's what took me years, literal years, to finally understand. People don't tune you out because your story is boring. They stop listening because they don't feel invited into it. Most of us, me, 100% included, talk to express, not to connect. We speak like we're hosting a podcast, not having a moment with someone. It's not that your words lack value, it's that you accidentally build a wall around them. You're sharing, but not really letting anyone in. You talk at people like they're an audience, but when you don't leave space for them to step into your world, their brain quietly packs up and goes like, "Cool story, bro, but this ain't about me." And that's when they check out. Rule number 1, stop trying to prove you're smart. One of my worst habits? Trying way too hard to sound smart. I'd correct tiny things that didn't even matter. Actually, it's not 80%, it's 78.6%. Or I'd cut people off mid-sentence with a smug little, "Technically?" In my head, I thought I was being helpful. I thought I was adding value, but in reality, I was slowly sucking the fun out of every conversation. When you try to be right all the time, you accidentally make others feel wrong all the time. And no one enjoys talking when they feel judged or one-upped. Yeah, it's not a dialogue anymore. It becomes a debate stage. And most people didn't show up to spar. They just wanted to feel seen. The moment I stopped playing Mr. Corrector, something wild happened. People relaxed. They laughed more. And for the first time in a long time, they genuinely wanted to hear what I had to say. Rule number 2, perfect stories are boring. Ever meet someone who tells a story so smooth, it feels like they've practiced it in front of the mirror 5 times before dinner? Perfect pacing, no stutters. Every pause feels calculated. You nod, you smile. But deep down, you're already thinking about whether you left the stove on. That used to be me. I'd rehearse the best version of my stories in my head, and still, people wouldn't really react. Know what finally changed that? I stopped polishing. I started telling the messy version. Like that time I bombed a job interview and said, "Thanks, ma'am," to a dude named Brian. I didn't clean it up. I just said, yeah, I was panicking so hard I thought I was going to throw up on his keyboard. And people laughed. Not because I was clever, but because they've been there. We don't bond over highlights. We bond over, oof, same. So let your story breathe. Let it trip over itself a little. That's where the real connection happens. Rule number 3, check your emotional posture. Okay, this one sounds weird, but hear me out. Your vibe speaks louder than your voice. You can say the right words, but if your energy screams, "Please like me, I need to impress you," people feel it. It's emotional static, and it pushes people away without you even realizing it. These days, before I speak, I check myself. Am I trying to perform? Am I anxious, defensive, desperate for validation? If yes, I pause, breathe, remind myself, you don't need to earn your space here, just be here. When you show up relaxed, grounded, people listen, not because you're flashy, but because you're safe to be around. Rule number 4, you don't pause, so people can't process. Want to know one of the biggest reasons people tune out? You never shut up. Yeah, I said it. You might think you're keeping the energy up. You're afraid of dead air, so you fill every second with words. But here's the truth. People don't bond through nonstop talking. They bond in the pause between your words. In communication science, it's called cognitive processing time. Your brain literally needs a second or 2 to catch up, feel, and respond. Ever watched a great stand-up comic? They're not just funny, they're masters of silence. The best punchlines land because they let it breathe. You don't need to be a comedian, but if every sentence you say runs into the next one like a never-ending email, then no one has time to feel anything. So here's a tip. Next time you say something important, pause. Not awkwardly, not dramatically, just a little air. It tells people, I'm not rushing you. I want you to feel this. And guess what? They definitely will. Rule number 5. You're talking to everyone, which means no one. Let me say something brutal. If you're always trying to sound relatable, you might be losing everyone. Because the truth is, the more general you are, the less people care. That sounds backward, right? You think, if I make it broad, so more people can connect. But in psychology, we call this the empathy gap. When something is too vague, the brain doesn't emotionally engage. It sees it like an ad, background noise. Something meant for people, not me. So how do you actually connect? Get specific. Get personal. Get real. Don't say, I struggled for a while. Say, there were days I stared at my laptop for 4 hours and still didn't type a single sentence. Yes, now I feel it. You don't need to be dramatic or overshare. But when you stop editing out the small, embarrassing details, you become real. And people don't listen to brands or profiles. They listen to humans. Look, even when you do everything right, some people still won't listen. They'll be distracted. They'll be self-absorbed. Or they just won't get you. And that's not your fault. The real trap? Trying to win over people who don't even have the capacity to care? Trying to get validation from the wrong ears? And in doing that, we forget to listen to the one voice that always matters, our own. So here's what I've learned. Being heard isn't about being louder. It's about being realer. It's about telling the story you needed to hear when you felt invisible. It's about speaking not to impress, but to connect. And when you do that, you don't chase attention, you attract it. So next time you feel like no one's really listening, don't try to outtalk the noise. Don't raise your volume. Raise your sincerity. Speak with warmth, not force. Speak like you're opening a door, not building a stage. Because the voices we remember most are not the loudest, smartest, or slickest. They're the ones that felt like a safe place. Like someone saying, hey, I see you. And in a world full of noise, that quiet kind of presence, that's what truly sticks.